Okay, now we go to linking. The first one, create recipe. So this is one of the most highly requested features, but I would also say probably one of the least effectively used all throughout our software, as it requires you to work out exactly what you want to do before engaging with it. So let's first define when an item requires a recipe. So any item that you do not buy in the same way as what you sell it requires a recipe. Any item that you are doing some form of manufacturing or manipulating of the original product to this product that you are selling will require a recipe. Obviously, we all know that food items fall under this category quite a lot, so every item on a restaurant menu should have a recipe. We all know that bakeries utilize recipes a lot, so I think the concept there is quite understood. But we also need to look at butcheries. Butcheries also use recipes as to link meat items to their parent item. So as we know, in a butchery, you might be buying for beef specifically, you might only buy hindquarter and forequarter. And now when you look at the hindquarter, you produce 25 types of items from that hindquarter, or let's say 30 types or even more. So you produce cuts, so you produce rump, you produce sirloin, you produce let's say brisket and so forth, the actual physical cuts. Then you also might use it in products such as borscht. You might also use it in making mince and patties. Okay. And thus this is where the recipe comes in, to tell all these sub products where to go and get their information from. So we're going to quickly create a hamburger. So when we're creating a hamburger, we need to make sure that we have our, sorry, it's just for the customers with scales, we'll see that. When we're creating a hamburger, we need to make sure that we first have all the raw ingredients that goes into a hamburger. Okay, so let's say product code number, this one 001. Okay, we're gonna say buns. Okay, you'll put it into your ingredients category, so we can even create a category for this before we even continue here. So let's go into our stock category. We can create a main category called, and we say hide this category as it mustn't form part of our sales categories. We click add, we click close. Okay, so now we've created that department. We can create the product 001 buns. Okay, so once we have buns, we can then add it to our ingredients department. Okay, we want to order buns the moment they go below 10, and we always want to make sure we have 60 of them in stock. Okay, a bun, I presume it's about 1 kwacha 50 ngwe for a bun, and we don't have to put in a sales price as this item will never sell, so we can just leave that 0. Okay, we'll never directly sell this product, we always sell it within another product, as in within our hamburger. Okay, so now product number 2 is patty. So again, we put it in our ingredients, and also you can create sub departments for your ingredients, which we'll go through a bit later. And we can say our patties, the moment they go below 15, we want to order again. Our ideal level is we want 100 in stock. Okay, we pay, let's say about 7 kwacha 50 ngwe for one, and again, we don't have to worry about a sales price for that. Then let's say it's a very basic burger, it just contains 3 things. It just also then contains cheese, and then we can say per slice. So if you're receiving your cheeses in slices, then you'll control the stock in units. If you're receiving it in kgs, then you need to be linking your recipe in grams. So we're going to do it per slice to make it units. We'll go in our next example into how to do grams and kgs. So also put it in the ingredients tab, and then what is our cost for a slice of cheese? It's about 5 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Our reorder level, we can make it to say if we reach 12 slices of cheese, we need to order 24. Okay, and we can just hit save. So let's say that is the sum of our parts of our hamburger. You can then click edit other item. Have we created a hamburger yet? No. So we can create a new item. Hamburger, let's say with cheese. We're gonna put it in the burgers department. And again, we can't put a reorder level on this specific hamburger because we might have several different hamburgers that all consume the parts that actually need to be reordered. So remember when we spoke about reorder, we don't put the reorder level on this product if it contains a recipe. We put it on the primary product. Okay, and we say we're going to be selling our hamburger for 150 kwacha. Okay, we hit save, and we say edit the current item. So once it's saved, it will then bring up our menu for us at the bottom. And this is where we then click linking. We say we want to create a recipe. Okay, what quantity does this recipe make? It's going to make 1 hamburger. So where will this quantity ever be different? So let's say we've got a recipe to create a cheese sauce. And we don't create only 1 portion. We create it once a night and then we use it all throughout the night. So we might create 50 portions. Then we would say this creates 50 portions. Or let's say that we, a pizza place again, we might create pizza dough. So when we do the recipe for pizza dough, we're not going to only mix flour for 1 single pizza. We're going to be mixing for entire batch, and a batch might consist of 30 bases. So that's what this is asking you. So if that was the case, we'll say this recipe is going to make 30 bases. But because we're doing a recipe only for a single hamburger, we can say 1. This recipe only makes 1 single hamburger. Okay, we click done. Now we need to tell it which products will it need to go and look at to make this hamburger. So our first step will be to use this search bar. Okay, we're going to then say, for instance, cheese. So cheese slice, let's say we're going to put lots of cheese on there, we put 2 slices. Okay, we click save and next. So we can see there the link quantity is 2 slices, and that's going to cost us 10 kwacha. Then we want to also add a patty. So our patty, how many patties? Let's again be generous and say we're going to put 2 patties on there. So that's going to make our cost then for 2 patties. And then we need to select our buns. We can select our buns there. And again, how many buns do we want? And on this one will only be 1, as I can't foresee a burger that uses more than 1 bun. So we click save and next. So as you can see here, it works out the cost of each one of the links, and right here at the bottom it will show you the total cost per unit. And if this was maybe a batch of 30, then it will show you the cost of the batch separately. So how much it will produce, how much it costs to produce the 1 unit, and how much it costs to produce all this in the batch. But because this is 1, it will be the same total. So we click completed, and that's fine. And that's the basic concept of creating a recipe. But again, that's a very simplistic recipe, as it is all with units. Now, most likely what you're going to be dealing with is weight. So again, we're going to use a example. Okay, let's use an example of a sausage. Okay, so when we're manufacturing a sausage, let's quickly have a look here. We create a new sausage, so add a stock item. We're going to call it maybe boerenwors. Okay. And we're going to put that in, say, the beef department. It's fine. I'm going to, again, we're not going to reorder boerenwors unless we're specifically buying boerenwors. But if we're manufacturing it, we don't put the reorder level on the boerenwors. We put it on the ingredients within it. Okay, we can leave the cost price blank for now because the cost will be calculated by its recipe. We don't need to put a cost price on this item as its recipe will determine what is its cost price. Okay, but we can say what we're going to be selling it for on a kg. So let's say, what's it, about 99.95 now per kg that we're going to be selling this product at. Again, once we save it and we say edit current, it will then allow us to have this properties bar at the bottom. Okay, now we're going to create a recipe and we're going to say our boerenwors batch, when we make it, makes 35 kgs. That's our boerenwors batch, makes 35 kgs. So when we search then for the product, we select, let's say we use beef. See what beef we can use here. Okay, we use some beef fat. We say we use, in this entire batch, we use 2.5 kgs of fat of our 35 kgs. We're gonna say, let's see, hind quarter. Okay, let's say the let me just find the right. So let's say we're going to use steak mince in there. Okay, we're going to use about 25 kgs of steak mince. Okay, we're going to use some pork. Okay, let's say we're going to use some pork. We're going to use, say, another 4 kgs of pork in there. Okay, then we need to also, so what does that give us? 29, 31.5. Okay, so then we're also maybe going to use some intestine, beef intestine, so as the outer tubing for it. So let's say we use about 2 kgs of that, so we put a 2 there. Okay, then we want some spice. So let's say for show original spice, we're going to put 450 grams. So you see 0.450 will indicate 450 grams of this will be used in there. So I don't know if all of this calculates up to 30 kgs, but or 35 kgs I mean, but you can work it out yourself. And then as you can see here at the bottom, it will show you how much it costs to produce a unit and how much it costs to produce a entire batch of boerewors according to my definitely wrong recipe, but to just give you a concept of how to link up the items. Okay, so we click completed and we click save, and again once we're on this product, you'll see it is now got a cost price based on the recipe that we've implemented on it. Okay, so that's how you do a recipe. I also want to show another recipe specifically for an item that we encounter quite a bit in the butchery industry, which is biltong. But any item that has weight loss on that specific product. So let's say we've got let's create PLU number 6. Just know if it's on a scale it must have 4 digits. I'm just using this as an example. So we can then say biltong, okay, per kg. Okay, we put it in the beef department again, and we say the price is 350 kwacha kg. Now we save, edit current again, it will bring this bottom section to us. We go into linking, we create the recipe, we say it will make 1 kg the recipe that we're about to make. Okay, now we go and select our beef, I think it's silver side if I'm not mistaken, that you use to create biltong with. And even though we're making 1 kg, we actually require about 1.8 kg of silver side meat for every 1 kg of biltong we have, as it dries and it loses its weight. So this is saying we're going to use 1 kilogram and 800 grams of silver side for every 1 kg of biltong that we sell. So when we click and save that, you'll see it will then increase the cost here of the biltong. So 1.8, even though we're only producing 1 kg, we actually use 1.8 kg of raw product to produce the 1 kg of biltong. So you'll probably still also have some spices that you add to this. So let's say this time, this one, you're going to say we use about 0.6. Oh, okay, that's too much for 0.0. So it's about 10 grams per kg. Okay. So again, that's how you're going to put that in there. And then you just click completed and you click save. And now the system will know every time you sell biltong that it must go and deduct it from silver side if it doesn't have biltong in stock.